Are Chicago soccer fans loving the new stadium naming deal? Soccer is life in real life, and we dig into USL2 and the summer soccer coming soon. That and more on Friday's edition of Morning Kickaround. Hello and welcome to the show. You found your way to Morning Kicker on the show that dots the map of the ever-changing American soccer landscape. My name is Robert Kerr, local soccer guy, and filling in for radio soccer guy Jason Davis, who is off on vacation. We'll be back next week. My friend and yours, Luke Zagorski.
Yes, I'm still not Jason. I've been working very hard to become more Jason-like and Jason-esque in my overall aura, but it's not quite come together yet. But give me a break, guys, please.
Loving seeing all the MK Ultras check in. I know a few folks were upset no show on Wednesday, but I think this has been like the busiest 2 or 3 weeks in recent memory. But shout out, we got Mr. Bob already in the chat donating memberships. And I wanted to say, Mr. Bob, keep an eye on your emails. We have a special surprise coming your way. So Bob, check that out. Keep an eye on your email. And then we also have checking in. We got Jeff. We got Kate saying happy Friday. Happy Friday to you. One of my best Fridays ever, where I heard that expression was actually in Chicago. And that's a topic we will get to on the show. We got Chris checking in. Thank you. And I hope you're enjoying your coffee. We got Jeezy. What's happening over there? And many, many more. Armando as well. We got Dwayne, Homeless Shoe, By the Big Lake, and many, many. Oh, Tim, can't forget you out in Rhode Island. And then John up in New England as well, I believe. But yeah, Wednesday, just a little bit too busy to make it all happen, but happy to be with you today with my good friend. We are match day -1 for the kickoff of our team, Oakland County FC. Couldn't be more excited. We got an exciting team on the field and helping us out this year. So if there's any OCFC interns watching the show, looking forward to working with you this year. But I wanted to shout out to Mark at Bastion for hooking me up with a very cool Liverpool supporters kit concept shirt.
What is that, Rob? I don't know anything about this.
Apparently, he said that there was a jacket in the 80s that supporters wore. It wasn't like an official team thing, and he made like a rendition of that in this shirt.
No kidding. Can I see it one more time? One more time. It's funny because Liverpool fans are known for still wearing fashion from the 1980s. So it's nice to see you continue that tradition on the show.
And speaking of Mark and Bastion, we have officially set the date for the second run of orders for the Morning Kickaround kit. It's been amazing seeing everyone rocking. There's MK Ultras, friends, and everyone else who ordered them. And everyone seems to say that they've really liked it, that fits really well. If you haven't seen it, here is the Ultra kit. Both myself, Luke has one. We hand-delivered one to Tim out in Rhode Island. I actually got to sign his, which was a fun experience. But next Saturday, a week from tomorrow, May 23rd, get your orders in for the second run of MK Ultra kits. It says "Dot the Map" on the back. Embroidered logos. So shout out to Mark at Bastion for making such a wonderful kit. And if you want to get yours, get your order in by next Saturday, and we will get that up and running. I know there was a couple people that ordered theirs shortly after the original deadline, so they've been waiting for quite some time. So next Saturday, the cutoff date, and hopefully we'll get that up and running. And the second run turnaround time should be quicker than the first. So exciting times for that. I think that about does it, but be sure to support the show. Any super chats or gift memberships or become a member yourself. You, as an MK Ultra, get priority commenting on screen during these live shows, bonus content, and access to the Morning Kickaround Discord server with excellent community growing each and every day. and conversations from local soccer, MLS, USL national teams, stadium talk, and folks actually sharing a lot of ideas on building clubs, some folks who already did. And so there's some builders, some newbies, and a great mix of folks in the Discord. Worth admission on its own. So let's get into our topics. Let's kick off Friday's edition of Morning Kick Around.
Yay.
Are Chicago Fire fans loving it? Chicago Fire announced a new stadium partnership that raised eyebrows for their stadium that's in construction in downtown Chicago, set to open in 2028. It's going to be called McDonald's Park. Would you believe it?
Yeah, I believe it. I believe it. In this over-commercialization of the game that we all hold sacred, yeah, of course I believe it. I'm not loving it, just to use your joke back at you. But I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. The stadium, as we've talked about before, the stadium renderings are genuinely, lovely. I'm not as into the whole rendering thing as some of our ultras are, and that you and Jason are. I prefer to see, the proof is in the pudding. I want to see the thing before getting excited about a crayon drawing of the thing, 7 years in advance. I love the renderings. Don't you think it's just been cheapened a little bit now because of the cliched sponsor of the park has been flipping slapped on the front now, Rob? Honestly.
Well, before we get into any sort of a critical stuff, some of the upsides, or at least some of the window dressing for this deal, this marks McDonald's first ever naming rights partnership for a major professional sports stadium in the U.S. This partnership expands the Chicago Fire's Plays program initiative, which is a plan to serve and resource Chicago public schools with equipment and after-school physical education experiences. And McDonald's Park, which is going to be called, it's going to feature immersive fan experiences, including a flagship McDonald's restaurant and year-round programming. So stadium food sometimes can send you to the bathroom, and McDonald's can too. So that's going to be a part of it. But McDonald's, at least the community aspect, obviously serving kids, and not just food, but they're serving kids with after-school programs, which is one of the things that I believe that soccer clubs are responsible for, and would be a great way to engage both, not only extend their hand to the community, but also getting kids active in an organized way. And then if that's guiding towards soccer, that is, I'm all for that. That's one of the things that I believe every soccer program or soccer club would benefit from doing, and it benefits the community as well. I'm going to bring in another rendering. This is from the sky here. It's got McDonald's on the roof. I'm curious if that's one of those things in a rendering, if it'll actually happen.
Of course it does. Of course it has McDonald's on the roof. Of course it does. Where else would they tell all of the planet where to not watch soccer? Oh, come on. Now, on the one hand, anything that backs youth soccer and community soccer initiatives with some serious cold hard cash, never ever a bad thing, right? Seriously, all jokes aside, if you really do want to commit to furthering the sphere of influence of your local professional club to the masses, right, to the youth, to the underserved areas of the community, to the city at large that you represent, it's never ever going to be a bad thing, man, ever. But McDonald's, really? Was there nobody else? Was there nobody else?
To be fair, there is local context there. The global headquarters is located in downtown Chicago, and in McDonald's University is located out in the suburbs there, a place I've actually been myself. And so the education of McDonald's employees and management and whatnot goes through Chicago as well. I actually got locked in there once, probably like 10, 15 years ago. And I guess maybe that might be a story for another day, but there is local context there. So it's not just pulled out of the sky though. But to your point, like I was, trying to build it up, like the positives. Obviously Jason and I are very excited about this stadium. Has the potential to be the crown jewel of MLS stadiums, being right downtown, and the original like kind of architect pencil drawing renderings really got excited, and those were just beautiful to look at in general. And then the youth programming, I mean, the Chicago Fire are like the 5th or 6th most popular pro sports team in the city, and it's a very fractured soccer landscape. There's a lot of fragmentation. The Chicago Fire fans live in different areas around the city due to the kind of nomadic nature of the different places they've been, where their venues have been. And then there is large swaths of the community that are soccer fans, but not Fire fans in that city. Because I mean, you'd say that maybe they're doing the least with the most there in Chicago, which is the case for like the Bears and a couple other sports teams there. The maybe don't want to be hyperbolic, but there is a huge amount of South American fans and Mexican fans who are fans of their own team and not Chicago Fire. So, maybe the youth programs kind of like integrates it, and maybe if the kids then become interested in Fire, to get their family out, folks that like Mexican clubs or clubs like I remember when I lived in Chicago, there was either an early round Gold Cup game or a friendly between like Honduras and another, a smaller team, and that place was sold out to the Rangers, like one of the most cool soccer games in Soldier Field that I've ever seen. So there is a hunger for the sport there. Perhaps this, no pun intended, at McDonald's Park and these youth programs sparks the hunger for the team in a larger population in the city. But obviously, being called McDonald's Park, there was plenty of jokes online about this, got their McField with their McStadium and all that. And I saw one comment that I had to bring up is we like renderings and stuff like that. But what do you guys think of this? A Grimace kit to go along with the stadium?
Yeah, this whole thing makes me grimace. Rob, we've talked about this off the show a lot because soccer culture in Chicago is alive and well, right? It's genuinely kicking off. It's always been huge. It's just huge in spite of the Fire's involvement in it, not because of the Fire's involvement in it. And that's just a little bit sad. There's great soccer culture in Chicago. There's so many cool clubs at grassroots level in Chicago, man. Chicago House, Fire, Bavarians, friggin' dozens, man. In Chicagoland, there's dozens of really cool clubs propping up the sport in that area. But no, please jump in the chat if anybody disagrees. But it's and this is not the hill that I'm going to die on. I got no stake in this, but it's unfortunate to see so many good soccer people in this area that are not being catered to by the local club. One of the original, what do we call it in hockey, Jenny? It's the original 6 in hockey, right?
Is there a name for that's a good point. Is there really a naming for the original MLS clubs? I mean, I just call them MLS Originals, but I guess maybe you can't really hold on to them like that because they're no longer there. The original 6 are all holding tough.
I think it's 8. Isn't it 8? It's the can we do extra
putting us on the spot?
Elite 8, something like that. I don't know.
But the Chicago Fire actually came in a year later, so they weren't actually original. They were next to original, but they came in a year after MLS's kickoff date. But one last joke before we get out of here. So if McDonald's sponsors the new Chicago Fire Stadium, which city or which club should be sponsored by Arby's?
Sporting Kansas City. Sporting Kansas City, because their stadium would be called We Have the Meats Field.
Oh, man.
We Have the Meats Field. It would be just like at Arby's roast beef sandwiches. what they're famous for. The Sporting Kansas City offense is thick, slow-moving, and full of gristle.
So looking it up real quick, internet search.
Talking?
No, sorry.
Wow.
Sandy Springs, Georgia is the headquarters for Arby's. So I don't know if there's anywhere close to there. Maybe is that somewhere close to northern Florida? I don't know. But Kansas City, obviously, they do have meats. Sorry, that was a little bit dismissive. But the gristle, is there gristle in Arby's meats? Is there enough real meat to have gristle?
Yes, there's yes, there's gristle in Arby's meats. No, no question about that. But Arby's is better food than McDonald's, right? I mean, right? Can we agree on this?
It's good on the way in, sometimes. Yeah. But that aside, we'll move right along. Let's go to another topic. U.S. soccer being weird here on Friday's edition of Morning Kick Around. Football is life, but in real life, actor Cristo Fernandez, aka Dani Rojas, officially signed for El Paso Locomotive in the USL Championship this week. Before we get into it, your thoughts, Luke?
Oh, look at him. He's lovely. He's absolutely lovely. What a lovely man. What a great actor, lovely character that he plays on the show. And I just think it's a great story. What a fantastic sports story. He plays a soccer player on televisions, and then he just shows up one day and goes, I actually want to do this for real now, and I'm just going to do it. I think it's lovely. I really do.
Going back a segment. Sorry, Jeff, to hate on Arby's, but that was too funny. But yeah, Cristo Fernandez, aka Dani Rojas, signs for the USL Championship side after speculation through training camp as he was invited there and was seen. And so there was a lot of questions asked. Is this a stunt? Is this something to do with the new season of the show that they are filming? And honestly, probably Dani Rojas' casting, Cristo Fernandez's casting in that show was probably one of the upsides of that show. Definitely a beloved character in Ted Lasso, but so he's obviously no stranger to the game, playing the character on TV, but he had a bit of a youth soccer career, so to speak. But he stepped away at age 15. I guess he got a pretty bad injury and decided to pursue other things such as acting. But I guess playing got under his skin again, and he wanted to give it another shot, getting into the American Second Division with El Paso Locomotive. He plays as a forward, and I was looking it up. El Paso Locomotive currently sitting in 4th place in the USL Championship West Conference, and they've already scored 20 goals in 9 games. So El Paso, no stranger to scoring goals, and apparently the coach says he's going to be another offensive weapon.
Clearly, they don't need the help in the offensive side of the ball, though. Maybe they should just go get Roy Kent to prop up the defense, play the old number 6 role. I think they signed the wrong actor, to be honest with you.
So, yeah. Well, from what I understand, Mr. Kent was he's just an actor. He has no footballing experience, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ted Lasso super fans, but he's definitely got a longer resume in the television film industry. Another thing I wanted to bring up, I mean, obviously you're praising this as a cool story, as an actor playing a soccer player, signs a contract to be a professional soccer player. But what does that say about the level of play that someone that's older, who's been away from professional soccer, or begins professional soccer this late in life?
Come on. It's one story, dude. It's just one isolated, cool, feel-good, fuzzly-wuzzly story. If we're gonna get cool, if we're gonna be critical of this guy coming out of nowhere and joining a professional team, but not criticize, the whole McDonald's thing, I don't know if we need to read too much into this. Obviously, he has some pedigree You know, he played soccer. Okay, so he quit soccer at 15. That probably means he played the game for what, Rob? 8, 9, maybe 10 years. So he's got a decent foundation. I understand he went through some sort of, camera training and classes and things of that nature to get him truly camera ready for the role before he took it on Ted Lasso. He knows what he's doing. He knows
he's 35 years old. Okay, strip away the acting bit and being famous in a role. He's 35 years old, becoming, essentially signing his first professional contract at 35 years old. I guess that's an interesting story, regardless of the celebrity aspect. But it does raise an eyebrow that, he's a 35-year-old is able to work his way into shape to make a team.
The most important factor that I want everybody to bear in mind about this story is that at the end of the day, when all is said and done, football is life.
Fair enough. Soccer is life, but in real life, apparently, and Kate, this is funny. 35 is the new 20. I've heard all the 35-year-olds are saying that these days.
What's 43 the new? 43 is the new what? Give me some hope, guys. What's 43? 43?
The new 38.
I'll take it.
But El Paso Locomotive, 4th place, doing all right, and have a new addition. If there's any El Paso fans in the chat, give us your feedback here on Morning Kick Around. We're going to move right along, talk about Pro Rel here on Morning Kick Around. Big question here on Morning Kick Around. Hopefully you guys are doing well. As we are in mid-May, we are getting into crunch time in the promotion and relegation seasons in leagues across the sea. Obviously, Tottenham and West Ham, some big names in England that are right on the relegation bubble. And relegation and promotion system is supposed to come to the United States shores per USL starting in 2028. First, they have to populate their leagues with 20 teams. And the theory is that there's going to be a 2 or 3 up and down system. So kind of want to open this conversation up a little bit more freestyle. So obviously the big name teams being in the relegation scrap has added huge interest to the promotion relegation system. Our previous story about the Ted Lasso actor promotion and relegation was brought to mainstream viewers in America with the team in the show being relegated, and same with the Welcome to Wrexham show. So there's a bit more familiarity with the viewers and the general consensus of the fans of that's cool. If the team's crap, they have to go down, right? And then if a team is doing really, really well, they move up. The basic tenet makes sense, right? But the practicality and then kind of starting that mid sports ecosystem of the USL, no easy feat. Kind of want to make a bit of a compare and contrast of what's at stake over in England and then what is being proposed in the USL. The promotion game that's going to happen between Southampton and Hull. Last year's promotion playoff game was reported to be a game worth $200 million. Not going to be quite worth that much here in the States, I don't think. Not at least at first.
No, probably not. But we as in Europe, right? I speak for Europe today. Hello. Bonjour.
Hello, Europe representative.
Yeah. So we always thought it was a bit weird that American sports, by and large, operate on this closed circuit system, and there really didn't seem to be all that much at stake come, the last month or two of the season. So I know there are a lot of people in other countries that are really, really quite happy about the fact that there is going to be Pro Rel instigated into, to some degree into the fabric of American sports in general, but certainly soccer, because it does belong. It's a tried and trusted system. It's been around for 500 years or whatever. Well, probably 120, 130 years or so in the English pyramid, for example. So it's an important part of the fabric of soccer, and it is nice to finally have it be at least kicked around and thought about and considered. It's a different type of pro rel. It's not going to be as high stakes as promotion and relegation is in most of the quote unquote big leagues around the world, but it should reinvent the way that soccer team executives think about the sport and decision make for their club on a year-by-year basis.
That was apparently, from what we heard, one of the key drivers behind the USL vote, or USL clubs voting for approval of a promotion and relegation system. I think when they voted just over a year ago for it, both Major League Soccer with their schedule change and then USL with this pro rel proposal, they're obviously understanding that they are not capturing the hearts of American soccer fans. I know there's a lot of soccer fans in this country, but not necessarily of American leagues as much as it could be. So they're trying to capture more hearts and minds. And part of the driver and the willingness for ownership to vote for this was the stakes being lower. A team is not going to lose $250 million if they get relegated. For now, they don't. There's in USL, there's no gargantuan TV rights deal, at least as of yet. And there isn't, a mega sponsorship for the top division just yet. Obviously, those things could change over time. But one thing I was looking at that could maybe stunt USL's promotion relegation. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of pitfalls and hurdles to cross as they institute this. But at the very least, there is estimated operating cost differences between USL League One, which is the third division, and then USL Championship, which is the second division. And we don't know yet what the general operating costs would be for the Premier, the USL Premier League that's supposed to be started, that leads the way for this promotion relegation system. Obviously, they have to populate these leagues with 20 leagues each, which will take some time because I think they're only going to start over 14 clubs. So, I mean, that's a lot of clubs to add. But so the estimated operating cost for the USL Championship team is anywhere in the range from $3 to $9 million, and the USL League One operating costs are estimated between $1 to $3. Obviously, there's differences in expansion, but I'm just thinking of operating in general. So one of the aspects of this that could derail promotion is maybe USL League One club, they win it, say one knocks, they win the USL League One, the third division, but they're not projecting that they can afford that new operating cost level. What then? That derails things, eh?
That's happened. There's precedent for that kind of thing happening across the globe, though, man. I won't bore. I know some of our MK ultras. They love getting granular with soccer stats and nerdness and history, and I flipping love that too. I really, really, really do. But maybe this is the wrong forum for that. Just real quick though, there is precedent for clubs getting promoted in the European systems and just simply not being able to take advantage of that success, of the reward for a good season or two by accepting a promotion. You know, there was a really famous example, Rob, that we talked about the other day about Luton Town. Luton Town barely made it into the Premier League by the skin of their teeth because, quite simply, they were not expecting to be able to. They weren't expecting to be in contention to get to the Premier League that particular season, so they had to scramble around and sort of make some late decisions and go spend about 500 gazillion pounds on upgrading their stadium so that it was fit for purpose, which is, I mean, it's not a bad thing to have those standards in place to make sure that the Premier League product is being offered in the right way to the highest possible standards to the fans, right? But I know for a fact that there have been fan bases of clubs that have been flipping heartbroken by the fact that they just simply weren't eligible for promotion as if and when they get to that point. And I'm wondering if there are going to be any clubs. I suspect not many, but I'm wondering if there are any clubs that are going to reach that point of oh crap, our stadium's not ready, our infrastructure is not suitable for USL Championship or USL Premier. What are we going to do? We're going to have to turn this opportunity down.
Yeah, not wrong about that, but it's kind of what a heartbreaker it would be if your team, has an epic season, wins the league, but then that can't actually go up because, the league either doesn't have the ability or didn't have the foresight to make all those renovations to then accept it. I mean, that's a short turnaround. It's like, what, halfway through the season, or like, promotion's a possibility. We have to put millions of dollars that we don't have to promote, but that's difficult. And I guess that just falls into the management and ownership's, ability to look at the here and now and then look down the road and in the future at the same time.
We don't have enough parking. Our snack bar is running low on hot dog buns, or oh my God, we're not on a bus route, or our floodlights are getting old. We don't have the money to replace them. All of these logistical questions would come up at crunch time. And I don't know. I don't necessarily think that every single club, how many clubs are there currently between USL Championship and League One and future USL Premier, a good few dozen. I don't know if every single club has to worry about this kind of stuff, but some do. I'm telling you right now, I know that some do. I can think of some. But it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about kudos to USL's bravery for even attempting this, because there's a whole lot of hurdles and challenges ahead, and we'll definitely keep a keen eye overseas to see who wins the $200 million promotion, and then which English big club, Tottenham, even more so, or West Ham, which one will go down. It's going to be a big deal.
I want to talk about this. I want to talk about this so much. I don't think I've ever wanted anything in my entire life more than I want Spurs to get relegated. I would sacrifice a limb. I would shave my eyebrows off forever for the rest of my life. I would kick a gerbil. I want this so bad. I just want to see it. Just because it's funny. There's no deep reasoning for me to want Spurs to drop down. And maybe it's tough for the American sporting audience to kind of capture how flippin' bizarre this all is. Just imagine you woke up to the news that, breaking news today on ESPN, the New York Yankees have been demoted to AAA. They now have to go to places like Round Rock and, I don't know, Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Time out.
No.
Do not compare Tottenham to an actually successful sports team. Tottenham have not achieved anything in their life. They tripped and fell into the Europa League last year. It doesn't count. Yes, get them relegated. Arsenal win the Premier League. Arsenal win the Champions League. Tottenham get relegated. There will never be another season that could match this one ever. Thank you for coming.
That's some levity there from producer Jenny. Thank you so much. And I think, what, since there's a little bit of gusto in this conversation, we'll come back to this in our final segment, but we have a guest waiting patiently in the wings. Real quick, if you missed the announcement, the second order date for the MK kit seen here and worn and modeled in the MK Discord by everyone who received it. Next Saturday, May 23rd, get your order in to get on that second run of kits. All right. Hang in there. We have guest Chris coming from Talkin USL2. Yeah, we're going to dig into the elite world of American Summer League soccer. Stick with us. All right, welcome back. Morning kick around here on a Friday, and myself and Luke are huge boosters of a USL2 side, so we couldn't be more excited for our team to kick off tomorrow. But there's over 100 teams in this league with many, many divisions across our fair country. So we got our MK Ultra expert and the host of the wonderful program Talkin USL2. Yeah, Chris Wilson, welcome back to the show, sir.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me again. It is a blast. Yeah, USL2 is just, it's so much fun. It's so wonky. It's such a microcosm of US soccer, and it's just great.
All right. So with that in mind, elaborate on what you mean by the microcosm of American soccer.
Well, it's on one hand, it's perceived as the fourth division of U.S. soccer, this USL2, NPSL, the league for clubs. But on the other hand, it is as if USL2 was connected to USL1, it would be as if somebody jumped from like the the 8th tier of England up to the 4th. It's going from nothing to everything. And yeah, I mean, it's summer soccer players mainly from local colleges, which that's a thing that's not common elsewhere, that universities have this big sports culture around them. And yeah, it's very American in just about every way, that it's not a full season. You don't play everyone the same. Like, each division somewhat has its own format. The playoffs are so big and so weird. And again, there's not like the smaller playoffs that lead to the bigger playoffs. It's just the playoffs. It's very American top to bottom.
Very American from top to bottom. Yeah. So yeah, it kind of like puts a highlight on the fractured nature of where the player development line goes. And then it's a little bit bizarre. It's like, they're playing for one team during one part of the year and then a completely different team another part of the year. I mean, I love it. It does take, did we lose Chris there? I was just going to say that the USL2 kind of, for those who don't understand it or don't know the teams, they're kind of like college all-star teams or elite development teams, so to speak. I was just going to say, it takes there's quite almost like a 5-minute preamble when I'm telling people like, oh, you got to come check out the local team. It plays in this league. It's really, really great, but it takes about a 5-minute explanation to say what it is. But the easy way, I just say it's kind of like a college all-star teams.
Yeah. Down here, I'm in Baton Rouge. So down here, it's big baseball country. And so a lot of people kind of understand the minor leagues of baseball and understand the collegiate summer leagues that are tied to baseball. And so I just say it's collegiate. It's essentially one big collegiate summer league rather than all the little bit different ones. And so that usually gets people to understand. But if people don't understand that, yeah, it's super confusing because it's so weird. It's so unique. It's not something you see in baseball. It's not something you see in football. It's not something you see in hockey, really. It's super weird.
Chris, I love USL2, and obviously you do too. Rob does. You don't have to sell us, man. You really don't. But sometimes I catch myself if I'm trying to explain USL2 or Midwest Premier or what have you, the lower reaches of the grassroots game in this country. For lack of a better expression, I just sound like a nerd. I just sound like an overexcited, hyped up fanboy. Oh my God, it's great! It's the best. You get the smoke bombs and tacos at $3, and these guys are college guys, but they're really. How can I pitch the USL2 concept and model to the casual fan in my local area without sounding like an overexcited 9-year-old?
I'm yet to figure that one out.
Yeah.
Every time that I talk about it with a friend of mine, whether it be a fellow soccer fan or somebody that's not too inclined, I always just sound like such a big nerd, because I've had multiple people just be like, there's more than just MLS. And I've had others that are like, yeah, I've heard about USL2, but I didn't know that they had a summer league. Is this like an academy system? And it's anytime that I really start to explain it, I always just sound like such a big nerd. And I don't know if there's really a way not to say it. I think the best way to just say it is this is as local of soccer as you're going to get. This is that, people that are somewhat familiar with soccer do know about the European systems. They know that as you go down, things get real local. It's real community focused. You have those $5 meat pies or whatever. And that's always talked about whenever you get online in the soccer spheres. And that's really the best, the best thing that you're going to get in the US in regards to those lower levels over in England and whatnot. And it's just, yeah, when a club comes in and does it right, you really just get such a sense of community. And that's why you're seeing more and more teams lasting longer and longer. It's because they've kind of figured out what works. And it's really cool to see, because pre-COVID, I think it was, somebody did the math, and the average team at this level in USL PDL at the time or NPSL only lasted about 3 years. And now 3 years is kind of the baseline that you kind of expect teams to last, rather than that being the average length of a team's stay.
Yeah, good point there. I like that, both not only that there's starting to be a little bit of longevity and solidity to the clubs lasting for a while, and obviously that makes it harder to follow teams if they don't stick around for very long. And then also the embedded or the local community aspect of it, because I'm here in suburban Detroit. I'm a Liverpool fan, but I haven't really ever lived in Liverpool. That's where my family's from, and that was passed down to me. But Oakland County FC, playing in my hometown, gave me the ability to have my own local team. And with over 100 teams scattered across communities, large and small, across the United States, a lot more folks are able to have that in their backyard and have access to it. And the teams that do it right do provide that, but also provide the opportunity for internships and more opportunities for announcers. And it gives a stage or a platform for folks trying to go professional as well, not just the players.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought that up, because USL2, the USL HQ, I should say, markets USL2 as that pre-professional. And they've really expanded that since changing the name USL2 to include every aspect of the team. It's not just pre-professional for the players, it's pre-professional for the fans, it's pre-professional for the ownership, it's pre-professional for the front office, the interns, it's pre-professional for the production crew, for the referees. USL HQ wants USL2 to be an incubator for professional soccer in every aspect. And I think that that's really cool. And to further that point, NPSL and the League for Clubs are also doing that. It's not just USL2 that is doing this to such an... I could go on about Sports Engine. They're not great. But they're giving USL HQ money. There's ads just about every 10 minutes, it feels like. But back to the previous point, it's just and with that pre-professional push as well, it forces a lot of these clubs to take it more seriously. And because they're forced to take it more seriously, because they're investing more into the players, into the broadcast, everything else, it raises that level, and it just creates more divisions that are more competitive. It creates more teams that then last longer. And so it's just this kind of cycle of feeding into itself, which is why it's ballooned from, I think it was at about 91, we're scheduled to play in 2020. And it is now ballooned up to 158 is the mark this year.
Wowza.
Hold on. 158.
158 teams are scheduled this year. Last year was scheduled to be 144. One team dropped out, so the number was 143. And then on top of that, you have 55 clubs in NPSL and 47 in the League for Clubs, and then like 700 or something in the two levels of UPSL.
Because I fall into this trap a lot, Chris, and I don't know if you're the same. There does seem to be, I don't want to say that it's a bias, because it's not necessarily a negative. It's a very understandable concept. When I try to explain USL2 or lower league soccer to a casual fan, to a casual sports fan, there is this type of inbuilt attitude where it's like, okay, well, how good is it? I want to watch the best product that I can. And I think a lot of the US viewing audience is kind of the same. That's probably partly why the G League doesn't exactly tear it up when it comes to tickets. Why these off-brand, forgive the expression, but off-brand NFL gridiron leagues haven't quite caught on, and haven't for what, I don't know, 30 years or so now. So that's the first thing in people's minds is, okay, how good is it in terms of the best version of the sports available? I don't know about you, but I find myself kind of automatically defending the quality, the output of the play itself, and of the professionalism, or like pre-professionalism, surrounding things like the talent level and the game day experience. Do you fall into that trap as well? And is there a technique that you use to kind of say, look, yeah, it's grassroots, it's actually really, really freaking good soccer?
Yeah. I mean, the first thing that I really need to always acknowledge whenever somebody says that is just like, yes, some teams are not great. There was a team last year that went 0-1-13 with like a negative 130 goal difference.
Wow.
They were losing games 22-0. And there are just going to be teams that are bad, but those are few and far between and often don't last very long.
Mhm.
The teams that are even good, not great, not amazing, but the teams that are kind of mid-table in their division, they have some talent in there. And even the bad teams, I had a team here in Baton Rouge for 2 years. It was pretty bad, but there was always 2 or 3 people on that team that were just tearing it up, even against top of the table teams. And it's one of those things where even on the bad teams, you're going to have 1 or 2 players that are just clearly head and shoulders above everybody else. And then on those good teams, and then on those great teams, it keeps getting more and more. And no, it's not that top level. It's not the MLS. It isn't. But at the same time, this is the future MLSers. I think every year it's about half, if not more, of the players that are selected in the MLS Super Draft played in USL2 the previous summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I watching the Open Cup open rounds, I was like a proud papa, and there was games all over the place with former OCFC players or players that I'd seen on the other side in the Great Lakes division, and that was great to see. Oh, I remember that player and that player. And even in Rhode Island, I got to see Hugo Bacharach play, one of our worst enemies. They used to play for Flint. Apparently, he raves about his time in Flint. And I'm going to go to a question from the MK Ultras, a topic that we're going to dig into a bit more on Monday's episode of Soccer Night in Detroit. He asks, can you speak on what the new NCAA ruling? I'm not sure if I brought up the right comment, but he was asking about how would the new NCAA 2-semester thing play into the USL2 and the future for that.
So I haven't really dug too deep into all that, but I believe that for the most part, it won't change too much, because that ruling currently, at least, is only for men's Division 1. Is it for women's as well? I think it's just
no.
for
The women's side opted out early in this process.
Yeah, so it's just for men's Division 1. And a lot of USL2 clubs do also include Division 2, Division 3, NAIA, JUCO. There's tons of those players that are also good, if not at times better than mid-level Division 1 players, just because they're like, this is a university that works for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that, or rather believe that top level Division 1 player that are all Americans or whatever, that are getting that bit of NIL that is going into NCAA soccer, they're probably not going to compete. But for the most part, it is likely that most of the players that are currently playing in USL2 will still do it, because the season is the same amount of games. Mm-hmm. And because the season is the same amount of games, I don't think that would really deter too many players. As somebody that didn't play in college, I have no clue. This is me just kind of guessing and kind of using based off of my prior knowledge and what I've seen other people say and other people believe, people that are more connected. But I think that that's something that we're going to have to see over the course of 3 to 5 years as NIL continues to roll out and as that takes more of a implementation and is more solidified in the understanding of both USL2 and NCAA athletic departments.
Yeah, difficult question to answer at this point. A lot of changing aspects, a lot of things at play here. But I do think that the window of availability of the players, especially at like bigger name programs, is kind of narrowing. Some of them like show up like, days before the first game of the season or maybe a weekend. And then those last couple games in mid-July, and by the playoffs, some of them are already going back to college. But I do have another question. It's kind of a heavy one for you. What would you say to the cynics of USL2 saying this is kind of just a fundraising system for corporate USL.
I guess is kind of the best way I can say it. This is not like USL1 and USL Championship where there's a huge expansion fee. The expansion fee is tens of thousands at most, and that is spread out over 2 to 3 years. And so it's not like USL is raking in millions of dollars every year, because if you have 20 expansions at $20,000, that's only $40,000 $400,000. It's probably closer to 30 to 40,000, but that's still not a huge chunk of money. The yearly fees, from what I've gathered, aren't particularly high, and most of the time that kind of stuff is used to help pay for teams' playoff travels. It is not used, it's not lining most corporate entities' pockets. It is staying down here. And yeah, like USL HQ really views this as a bid for the future, to incubate USL1 clubs, to incubate USL1 players, to incubate USL1 referees. And so it is not really a money extraction thing nearly as much as I would say USL Championship and USL1 expansion bids are, or expansion fees are.
You're the authority here, Chris. I think that's indubitably, is that a real word? I've always heard it and wondered if that was a real word. But either way, you're the authority on this. And I was Chicken Little about this whole thing when we first heard about this at the tail end of last year, right? And I'm really glad to hear you say it's probably not going to be the death knell of USL2 like a lot of us lowly fans kind of gravitated towards when this news broke. But real quick, do you believe in your heart of hearts that the impact on USL2 was really, truly, and honestly considered by the NCAA when they put this plan together, based on what you've seen?
I'm going to go no. I think that for the most part, the NCAA likes to see about what is best for them. And they might have had some people bring it up, but I think that a lot of times when it comes to stuff like this, the NCAA is like, what can get us kind of the most money? And at least from what I've seen throughout my life, you have the March Madness is being expanded to, 76? College football playoffs are being expanded to potentially up to 24. It's still an invitational in my mind because you don't include every conference champion, but that's a different discussion. You have all these things. I mean, the playoffs in a lot of the sports are heavily regionalized to lower travel costs, so it's not properly seeded depending on who you ask. And so it's a lot of the NCAA kind of seeing how they can make the most money, how they can absorb the most market share. So I don't think they gave too much of a thought of it. It would surprise me if it did come up, but at the end of the day, they're going to see what is best for their biggest brands, for their Michigans, for their Ohio States, for their UConns, for their LSUs, Texases, Washingtons, etc.
Yeah, in my opinion, Luke, that's the least of their concerns. They're looking to maximize themselves both financially and the calls for NCAA to be or the college system to be a truer development system. So whatever happens, I think the summer league is almost a byproduct of teams almost just only playing in the fall in a way. So the summer league's getting squeezed is not probably on their radar. It might have been a guy like, excuse me, where does this leave us? But I can't imagine that too much.
That's the point. I think maybe the goal should have been what is the best system for U.S. soccer in and of itself, and what's the best system for U.S. soccer players. Maybe if we figure out a plan for what's best for U.S. soccer, maybe the right hand talks to the left once in a great while, and we come together and we go to Arby's and McDonald's and we figure this thing out properly.
What are you new here? This is
I don't
American
think
soccer.
that's ever been a topic of discussion in U.S. soccer. It is how can we make the most money, and if somebody gets developed, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. We're talking like kind of bigger topics and bigger picture stuff here, but with the 2026 season, underway in some areas, and for our team here in Metro Detroit, we're kicking off our 10th season, not all in USL2, but 10th season as a local amateur club tomorrow. Kind of give us an overview of like kind of what you've got your eye on and where folks can find your show.
I try to keep an eye on at least every division a little bit. In my podcast, Talkin USL2 on Spotify, I rotate talking about each conference at least once every other week, so that way I can cover every division, at least touch on it. Previously, whenever I've seen USL2 podcasts, they only talk about the same about 20-ish teams, and I was like, it's a 100 plus. At the time, it was about 120-ish teams. What about the other 100 teams? So I try to talk about everything, but the big divisions that I would really say are the Great Forest, or Great Lakes, I should say, not Great Forest, are the Great Lakes in the Central Conference, because you have more teams that are really good, often more times than not, than there are playoff spots. There's only 1.5 playoff spots, but you guys have Ann Arbor, you guys have Flint City, you guys have Midwest, you guys have Oakland and Kalamazoo, which have both shown that they've been good, and then Lansing's just there. Sorry, Lansing City football, but you guys just kind of are. I don't really like to hold back when it comes to it. The Ranger division, I know we touched on it last time I was here, but the Ranger division I think is going to be the toughest top to bottom division out there, because there's only one playoff spot. And if you look at it, it's a whole bunch of really good and really well supported teams. Denton, Fort Worth, McKinney, West Texas, Lubbock, and Texoma. Bunch of really good teams, or teams that should be good. The other conference that I'm really keeping tabs on just about every day, or at least every play day, is the South Atlantic. The South Atlantic, which is the Carolinas. Oh my goodness. I think that's the deepest division we have. Hickory, Appalachian, Salem City, NCFC U23, Charlotte 2, SCU Bantams. That is a murderer's row. So I think if you're a neutral and you don't really have a team within an hour's drive, I'd say see which region you're in, which conference is the USL2 nomenclature, and kind of watch that division. Or if you do have a team within about an hour's drive, see if you can make it out to a game or two. See if you like it.
Seriously.
Excellent. And then tell us about your show. Where can folks find you?
Talkin USL2 is the show with the apostrophe. Mainly on Spotify and another soccer network called Beyond the 90, BT90. So those are the two main places that it gets put out. I'm also on Twitter and Blue Sky with the Talkin USL2, and my tag usually is Crisao, CHRISSAO. So I'm there. I'm also in the Discord and the MK Ultra Discord. So if you want to talk anything USL2, even NPSL or TLFC, I do keep tabs on those. I do watch those. I do a whole spreadsheet that I will be sharing probably once a week in the Discord to show when teams are eliminated from playoffs. But yeah, it's a whole bunch. So if you have anything to talk about when it comes to this level of soccer, please reach out to me. I love to talk about it.
Thank you, Chris, so much. And thank you for the addition of your contributions in the Morning Kickaround Discord server. I was going to say you're a great contributor there and very regular addition there. And thank you so much for breaking it down with us here on Friday's edition of Morning Kickaround.
Yeah,
thank you so much for having me.
All right, guys. Thank you to Chris, and thank you to our MK Ultras and our viewers here today. Stick with us. We're going to wrap things up for the week. Stick with us here on Morning Kickaround. Last segment of the week here on Morning Kickaround. We are going to delve more into that NCAA and Federation proposal on the college system next week. Also want to we can extend our who's going down West Ham or Tottenham conversation here in a second, as well as which city could have their stadium sponsored by Arby's. You had Kansas City. I haven't seen others suggested. But also I want to remind everybody that the second purchase deadline for these beautiful morning kick round MK Ultra kits, our first ever show themed kit, next Saturday, a week from tomorrow, May 23rd. Get your order in then to get the second run of shirts. Everyone that has received it so far has looked very sharp and has said that they love it so far and very, very comfortable in it. And also want to give a big shout out to Tulsa Mario. Hopefully these all got gobbled up, but one of our leaders, one of our capos, if you will, of morning kick round, and also at the top of the show, Mr. Bob. And a reminder, if you didn't catch it at the top of the show, keep an eye on your email today. A special surprise is coming your way. All right. All that said, Jason is also back next week. That's another announcement, but that's neither here nor there. You're getting impassioned before
that hurts.
What?
That hurts my feelings, highlighting that Jason is back next week when I'm sat right.
I mean, he's a regular on the show. Give everyone the heads up on it. I mean, he's a frequent installment of the show. But you were about to go up before we brought in Chris to talk USL to us. You were about to go off on Tottenham and West Ham. Who should go down?
Real quick, I want to tell you a very quick story about a jersey, your jersey, the MK Ultras jersey. Some of the folks in the Discord might know that, yeah, I'm really into the whole jersey collection thing, like you would believe. The only person that I know, the only person who to me has the ultimate say on whether a jersey is good or not is I know you know him. His name is Colin, and he's a very, very dear friend of mine. He literally has the most incredible collection of jerseys, guys. If anybody who's interested in this space, I can point you toward him in some other way, but he's a really nice guy, and he has 4 billion soccer jerseys. And I'm telling you, this guy knows what he's talking about. He can talk about the history, the mechanics behind jerseys. Quite simply, I sent him a photo of me in the shirt the day that it arrived last week, Rob, and he said it was really, really nice. Now that is really high praise coming from a guy who it's literally his job and his passion in life to say whether a jersey is nice or not. So Colin saying your jersey is nice means that it's, amazing. I just wanted to throw that out there because we all think it's because we like you and we like Jason and we like the color yellow and the chicken and all these things. But in terms of a standalone soccer jersey, it's really a great product, man. And this is not my opinion. This is the opinion of far more important people than me. So,
well, appreciate the kind words, and thanks from the bottom of my heart from everyone who has ordered it and has sent in a picture of them wearing it. That's been very, very, very rewarding indeed. You made me lose my train of thought there a little bit, Luke.
Sorry,
thank you for the praise there. But people are asking what you're actually wearing right now.
Oh, I was trying to find my Hearts jersey, Heart of Midlothian. They're in the Scottish Premier League, and I got so many now that I just can't put my hand on a certain shirt when I want to wear one. We don't need to make this into a flipping entire segment or anything like that. I just think it's remarkable that of all three of us, Jenny, you, and myself, we have only been alive to see 3 different teams win the Premier League in Scotland. The last time that a club that wasn't from Glasgow won the Scottish Premier League was Sir Alex Ferguson, who won it with Aberdeen in, I think it was either 1983 or 1984, right? That's the last team that wasn't Rangers or wasn't bloody Celtic that won the Premier League in Scotland. And another team has a chance to win it this weekend. Little Hearts from Edinburgh. I was trying to find that shirt because it's really nice. It's the color of jam, the actual color of raspberry jam, which I think is very important in a soccer jersey to be the color of jam. But I couldn't find it. Today, it's a training jersey from Club America. And I love it. It's all like mosaic-y, and it's sort of, I don't know if it's like Incan Mayan influence because of the zigzaggy pattern. I just love this shirt, and I just wanted to wear it today to make you all smile.
It's pretty sharp. I do
Mhm.
like that. It looks like tiling in that pattern a bit, and it reminds me of who was the kind of the sweeper keeper that wore the really wild goalkeeper kits for
Campos.
Mexico. Yeah, that kind of reminds me of Jose Campos sort of a thing. And actually, it's funny. Hopefully, he's not too far into folks' memory. That's one of the figures that made me love soccer early, and the kind of the style of soccer and that sort of thing, and just like the goalkeeper being like kind of an interesting figure on the field.
You want to talk about eccentricities in soccer? There's always been a long, rich history of eccentricism in South and Central American soccer. You had Campos, who literally just designed his own Umbro jerseys for fun, right? Literally. He just flipping, he took a design. Umbro contacted him and said, right, do you want to just draw your own shirts? He's like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And they were just the craziest designs. They were different every single game. He did what he wanted. He was wonderful, fantastic player to watch because, you guys are right. Kate is right. He played up front when he felt like it. Jose Luis Chilavert, he was
I remember him too.
Yeah, man, he took all the penalties and the free kicks, and he had tons of goals. Do you remember Rene Higuita? Anybody else remember Rene Higuita? He did the
Remember when? Remember
when? Yeah, we could do that all day. Who did the Brazilian? Maybe somebody in the chat can jump in. But there's a Brazilian goalkeeper who scored over 100 professional goals in the Brazilian league, because that's what he felt like doing. He was just gifted with good finish, and he took a lot of set pieces and what have you. Claudio Taffarel was just bonkers. I mean, I love this.
Whatever happened? You just listed a dozen big personality goalkeepers. Is there anyone even remotely close to that sort of a size of character in the goalkeeper position these days? But I do want to talk about just one more quick note on that with your point on Hibbs, was that while a lot of folks lambast the state of the Scottish Premiership and maybe the quality isn't what it once used to be, Scotland is a spiritual home of this game, and what happens there is important in a way, maybe not on a day-to-day scale, but having that league be lively and have interest in the game there. One of the originators, one of the spawning grounds, and one of the places where people bleed the sport, and having a little bit of variety, not just be a duopoly, is an important thing. Just like Leicester randomly winning the Premier League, having a different team kind of seemingly come out of nowhere and win it, I think would be a big deal.
Great. Another great parallel is when Robert and Jason dominate the morning kick around hosting chairs. Every once in a while, a plucky, good-looking young upstart will rise from the ether and make it interesting for everybody. I don't know.
Well, thank you everyone for chipping in. Thank you for everyone for chipping into today's show. Fun stuff. Thank you, Luke, for being in the chair as always when called upon. I appreciate that a whole lot. And we got a big weekend ahead of us. The 10th season for Oakland County FC kicks off for us. So I'm going to be leading the team of excellent media interns. Go check out OCFC on social media. We got a great introduction video. All the guys, there was a media day yesterday, and everyone getting their professional headshots and the kits, and we made some good social media content. Those guys out there. So we will be back on Monday. Okay, you got the finger of power here.
This is for the fans. This is for the morning kick around ultras. There's a lot of intelligent people, a lot of good soccer people in this group, man. I mean, really, you guys have built, you and Jason and Jenny have really built a fantastic community around this sport, around this space, and around this show. And I just want to throw one thing out there. If nobody realized about this, if anybody wants to get nerdy about soccer, about professional soccer this weekend, the La Liga is fan-flipping-tastic this year. Rob, did you know that there is currently a team in La Liga who occupy a European qualifying spot right now as we speak, who could also actually get relegated as well?
Is that because of like financial stuff, or the difference
Nope.
between like 4th and 17th is small?
I forgot what exactly the number is, but it's either 12 or 13 teams. We're heading into the last, 2 games of La Liga, which I think we can all agree is possibly the best team, the best league in the world. If not, okay, maybe it's not the best because of the EPL just vacuuming up all the monies, but it's second, third best league in the entire world. Think about this. There are 12, 13 teams that could get relegated mathematically and actually over the last 2 games. What are we doing? How remarkable is that? We don't have to do a whole thing on it, but anybody wants to look into that and put my factoid to the test, to the medal. If that is not an incredible advertisement, whatever, for soccer on this fair planet, I don't know what is. Bedlam. The team is Getafe, by the way. Getafe currently are going to qualify. If the league ended tomorrow, they qualify for Europe, but it is very possible that they get relegated over the next 2 games as well. How crazy is that? Just something for you guys. If you guys are looking for something to read on the can at some point this afternoon, Google that. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's one more. I'm Columbo. One more thing before we go.
Right.
My funny note for that, I kind of wish that last year it would have been funny if Tottenham had gotten relegated but won the Europa League. So we have a Champions League team playing from the championship. Would have been an interesting scenario to play out. But for real this time, thank you, everybody. Thank you for your support for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks to producer Jenny for her work as always. Thank you to Luke. And then everybody out there. It's going to be a busy weekend. Stay warm, stay safe, and enjoy your soccer.